Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Leo rising, or if you have significant Leo placements in your chart and are needing a neutral energy to help harmonize or balance masculine and feminine energies within yourself. So Leo, it's a really interesting and very powerful reading. I was getting like intuitive downloads about this reading like all through yesterday. And it's kind of like, so I'm feeling very much that your energy is feeling very fiery right now. Like it feels like you're using a lot of like fire, metaphorically, in order to take some sort of action it's coming through very much as like a cleansing process or like purging or like trying to transform perhaps your physical environment through very almost like perhaps destructive in terms of like getting rid of things, right? Or like transforming things or whatever. That's sort of the vibe that I was getting. And so but it could be also sort of manifesting in sort of things like your physical body feeling like warm, or just like there's like flare-ups, or perhaps like very frustrating, or perhaps even like passionate as well. It could be on either end. So I'm just feeling a lot of fire in your energy. In order to like clean or get rid of things or energies or transmute them or transform them in some way. So it feels very much like an ending, like you're putting an end to things is kind of how it's coming through in order to purify it. So if we just look at these the overall context, we have the unicorn purity, which I feel like is you. Like you're this unicorn and trying to transform your environment to purify it in some way from whatever thing it is that you're trying to get rid of, is kind of how it's feeling. And then you have this crystal cave trust, which I feel like is just talking about, it's a very perhaps like personal or solitary kind of experience. It's like you're in your cave, right? Like, or trying to because I feel like it's like you're trying to create something. This kind of feels like you're like dreaming of the future, or like this is your like what you're trying to manifest. And it's like you're trying to see your way towards this thing. And in the process, it's like you're purifying your space perhaps, or like getting rid of stuff, or like just making space for whatever this new thing is. And then this storm spirit chaos. So I feel like it's really interesting. I feel like this is part of your energy where it's kind of like you're sort of this like storm, or like channeling this storm in some way, like using this energy in order to cleanse and destroy, right? It's almost like a hurricane that goes through the land and just brings everything up, right? Like that's kind of the energy that's coming through in order to like clear it out. And I feel like you're intentionally perhaps channeling this energy, or intentionally trying to harness this energy, this like sort of lightning energy, in order to change your environment in some way, or change your circumstances, or like get out of stuckness, was kind of the energy that I was kind of getting in this, right? It's like because again with fire, there's so much fire in your energy that it feels like it's just like a lot of quick moving changes is what that's feeling like. So that's the overall context. And then there's something else here where I feel like there's almost like somebody coming into your space is kind of how it's feeling. The image that I was getting, it's like somebody knocks on your door, right? Like there's somebody knocking on your door, like a friend who's like, I don't know. It feels kind of like they're maybe checking up on you, but it doesn't have to necessarily be that. It's just like there's somebody at your door, but you're in the midst of this like deep cleaning process that's kind of like you're not perhaps answering the door right away because it's like you don't want them to see the mess, right? It's almost like in order to clear everything out, it's like you unpacked a whole bunch of things that were whatever in storage or something, and it's like you don't want them to see the mess, maybe, or something like that, because the first card out here is this 9 of Cups, which is kind of looking like this energy of like putting up like a screen, right? Like it's like there's this energy of like putting up a screen, maybe, or just like having what was coming through here is like putting on a brave face or something like that. It might not be that necessarily, but it's more so just like not wanting them to see what's behind the screen necessarily. Because I feel like here with the 10 of Wands, it's like a burden, right? It feels like there's a lot of heaviness or a lot of like old things or just like whatever that you're not wanting them necessarily to get involved in, or that you don't want them to see it, right? Like no one wants to have other people see like your messy home, right? It's that kind of energy. But I feel like they're here for a reason. Like it kind of feels like, so these 2 cards are really interesting. This I feel like it's almost like they're bringing you something is kind of how it's feeling. They're bringing you, it kind of feels like there's a reason why they're like showing up, right? It's not just to check up on you. It's like specifically because they're there for a reason. And it's almost like your guide sent them, or like they've been sent perhaps by the universe in order to help you in this process. But how it's coming through here is kind of like, perhaps you're seeing it as this 8 of Pentacles energy. So I always see this as sort of like almost like intrusive, perhaps, was kind of how it's coming through. Whereas kind of like here, you're here in this 9 of Pentacles. So 9 of Pentacles, there's a lot of like 9 energy in your reading, which to me is talking about like you're at the peak of something. I feel like you're at like this really almost like a peak, perhaps, intensity in terms of whatever you're doing, right? It's like you're almost at the end is what this is feeling like. And it's like here with the 9 of Pentacles, perhaps you've it's just kind of feeling like perhaps like what's coming through here is like exhaustion, or just like maybe not that far, but it's just like you're perhaps like losing steam because you've been using a lot of energy or a lot of fire. And it's like this one here is actually this bird, which comes through in a very like positive manner here. It's like this little bird who's knocking on your door to like perhaps like give you a boost in some way, or give you something that you need, is kind of how it's coming through. But perhaps you're not wanting to open the door yet because it's like you want to clear up something first, or like you want to make sure that the house is clean before you open the door, is kind of how it's coming through. So anyway, that's the context. And we're going to get into the cards here. So I'm using these 2 decks purposely because they're both very soothing energies. Like they're both very calm. They're both very peaceful. And I feel like that's kind of what you're needing. It's like you're, they're coming through almost as like the rain is kind of how it's feeling. Anyway, so here you have the Ancient Oak Spirit, which has strength. And then underneath that came the Strength card. So you have strength twice, which is the whole point of this reading. I feel like whatever you're doing, Leo, is requiring an incredible amount of strength. And it's almost like feeling like you are perhaps taking on a lot of burden, or you're dealing with a lot of burdensome things, or it's just like you're having to, with this one, like almost like climb uphill, right? Like swim against the current kind of energy. This Ancient Oak Spirit always comes out for me when it's like, this is sort of like this, almost like a nesting kind of energy where you are healing, right? It's like you're this bear inside of this Ancient Oak Spirit, almost like it's not quite a hibernating, right? It's not hibernating because you're very active is what this is feeling. It feels like you've been inside this Ancient Oak Spirit actively healing is what this is feeling like. That's what this card represents to me. It's an active process of healing. And it feels like it's coming through very like much like cleaning things out, or like whatever it is, however that resonates for you. It might not be like, I feel like that's metaphorical, but it doesn't have to be. Anyways, this Strength card is really interesting because it's kind of feeling like perhaps there's like a particular, was coming through as like demon, like a metaphorical demon, like a particular demon, right? Like battling a demon kind of thing, like metaphorically, or like clearing out some sort of whatever thing from your past that is coming through as being like a really big challenge. And you're coming out here as sort of this, it's interesting because I'm feeling your energy as being incredibly strong and powerful, right? This bear, I feel like that's part of the reading, is that your energy is this incredible strength, but I feel like in battling this demon, right? And like in confronting whatever it is that you're doing and healing this aspect of self or whatever, it's perhaps like made you feel small, or it's like that, because that's kind of the state that I'm seeing you as being in the process of clearing or healing this. It's like, it's perhaps put you in an energy of how you felt in that past experience, whatever that was. It's putting you in that energy again. And I feel like they're coming in, because they're coming in here. It's so beautiful, right? You have this wise woman of the grove, which has grace, and the Knight of Cups, right? They're coming in with all of this water, because it kind of feels like whatever situation it is that you're trying to heal or cleanse or whatever, it's almost like you've been or like purging it with fire, right? Like I just like there's this show called The Last of Us that was really popular recently, which is basically just a show. It's an apocalyptic show where like there's a infection or an infestation, I should say. The only way to clear it is through fire, right? You have to burn the infection to prevent it from spreading. I feel like there's that kind of process happening for you. Like it's like an intense transformation by fire where it's like you're burning down metaphorically whatever this infection is or something like that. And in the process, it's perhaps taken a lot of your strength, is what this is feeling like. And so this one's coming in as the water, right? As like this, as like, again, it just feels like rain, right? Like a very soothing, a very cooling sort of rain that like puts out all of the fire, right? Like, or like soothes whatever. It's like a cleansing or a soothing balm is kind of how it's feeling with this Knight of Cups. And it's like, so that's one reason why they're there, right? To bring this energy, but also because of this with the grace energy, it's like they're pointing something out to you is kind of how it's feeling. The energy that was coming through with this is kind of like, so say you're doing like a garage sale, for example, but it doesn't even feel like a garage sale. It feels like you're just getting rid of stuff. Like it's not even like you're wanting to donate things. It's just like you just want to get rid of all of it, right? Like just toss everything in the trash is kind of the vibe that I was getting. But it's kind of like there's perhaps something here. There's one thing amongst the trash, for example, that actually would benefit this one, is kind of how it's coming through. Because it's kind of coming through as like the energy of like one man's trash is another person's treasure, that kind of thing. So it's like and I feel like they're not necessarily aware of this, right? I don't think that they're coming to you maybe they're in search of something, right? They're in search of something. They were led to your door, and so now it's like they're here. And perhaps there's kind of just like, it's like this thing is necessary. And it's almost like, I feel like there's almost like this energy of like opening the door so that they can get this before you destroy it, is kind of how it's feeling. Before you toss it in the trash, right? It's like, this is something that they need. Because it's like, you're going to get rid of it anyway, right? This is something that you're going to get rid of anyway, but it actually has benefit to whoever this is. And so, I don't know, there's something here as well as like, so that's what their energy is. I feel like there's something in your trash, metaphorically, that would be beneficial to them. That's why they're here. And then you also have here this next interesting card, the Dragon Power, and then the Judgment card, because it's almost coming through as being like you need rest is kind of how it's feeling. You've been using so much strength perhaps that you need rest is what this is feeling like. Like it's like, because again, you're at the peak of something. You're at like this like climax energy, about to sort of step into the next thing or to put an end to whatever this cycle is. And it's like this one here is almost like they're coming through as being this dragon, as being like the one who's going to keep watch while you sleep, right? It's like they're taking the next watch, or they're like, it's that kind of thing. They're keeping watch as you take time to rest, because you've been using an incredible amount of strength is kind of how it's feeling. And so they're just here to like keep watch for you while you rest, but also because there's something of yours that you're going to throw out that would actually be really beneficial to them is kind of how it's feeling like. And then in the process, it's like, so with this card coming out as power, I feel like it's, first of all, returning some sort of power to you, right? Like it's reminding you of your strength perhaps, or just like giving you a boost, right? Or feeling like a recharge of energy in some way. Like it's refilling you because you've been perhaps depleted by this energy, whatever that is, right? So it's reminding you of your strength and your power is kind of how that's feeling. Because the next card here, the Judgment, is kind of like, so they're this little bird, right? They're this red bird here. There's a little red bird in this cup who's kind of like, perhaps like a cheerleader of some sort, but it doesn't have to be that. It's just kind of like this energy of like they're perhaps giving you some sort of encouragement to continue on in this path or something like that with the Judgment. Because it's like this, it's kind of like this rebirth energy, right? This sort of like, with this interesting card, because it's like you hear it being the mouse. This is sort of the starting point, trying to battle the snake, whatever that is, some sort of past demon. But it's like you can't battle this energy unless you are also a snake in some way. I'm not saying that as being sort of like a snake being sort of like duplicitous or like negative or shadow. It's just kind of like they're giving you enough strength to face whatever this challenge is. I'm just gonna leave it like that. They're giving you enough strength to almost like be reborn, or like to reconnect with some aspect of your power, or just to give you a recharge, right? Like to like shed all of this old skin and like recharge into an energy that is strong enough to finally complete and destroy whatever this demon is. That's what this dynamic is trying to give to you, is kind of how that's feeling. Because the next card out is the Six of Pentacles, right? Which to me is a very extremely reciprocal dynamic, right? It's symbiotic is what this is talking about. There's a symbiosis here, because it's like this one here, which is so interesting, because I feel like you're this ox character, right? Like it's like but it's both. It's both. This message feels like it could be flipped entirely in the reverse and it would make this exact amount of sense. That's sort of how it's feeling, because they're keeping watch, but at the same time allowing you to be reborn in your strength is kind of how it's feeling. And this card is so interesting because, again, this message wanted to come through yesterday, but I was also being asked to wait because I feel like there was a specific kind of metaphor that wanted to come through with this. So an example of something that happened yesterday, right? That is sort of serving as like a metaphorical example of what this reading is about, is that yesterday I was like just taking a look around my dad's garden. And he's a very avid gardener. So I was just taking a look around. he hasn't necessarily been full strength in terms of like trying, like managing his garden, because it does take a lot of work. And so I took a look around, and there was like this one really beautiful tree in the middle of his garden, but it was infested with sort of these bugs, right? That's what this thing is. There's an infestation on one of his trees that he hadn't noticed because he hasn't been like feeling his full strength. And so I just told him, "Hey Dad, there's a tree in your garden that has these bugs," and I handed him like an insecticide, basically. So it's kind of like that. It's like there's somebody here who's very, very lovingly, right, with this Knight of Cups, giving you perhaps strength or motivation, or perhaps like an actual tool in some way, in order for you to like remove something that's troublesome or an issue or whatever it is, right? Something that's like, it's just coming through as an infestation or an infection or something that's like overpowering or like taking strength from you or depleting you or whatever this is, because this is kind of this is wasps in sort of symbolically for me represent energies that just take, right? Because they're kind of, that's just what the wasp represents to me. They're energies that take or steal or whatever, right? It's that kind of energy. So anyway, so that's what's coming through here. It's like this energy's coming into with this sort of bird, because this one's the one who's like sort of pointing out or even like helping to remove the ticks or the bugs, the infestation, so that you can like get enough strength to fight whatever this battle is, if it is. Because it's like the next card to come out here, that's what this next card is, the Enchanted Fern Grotto, the Refuge. Because I'm seeing this one always talks to me about like looking really closely at something, right? So somebody is looking close, or like they can see something perhaps that you can't, or they can see some sort of like treasure within a situation that you are seeing as trash or seeing as a mess or seeing as like not something that anybody would perhaps see value in, perhaps, right? They're pointing it out. They're like highlighting something of yours, perhaps, that is very useful or beneficial, perhaps to them or perhaps to you or whatever, the situation in general. It's going to help the situation is kind of how it's feeling. Because here, the Seven of Swords, I feel like it's like you're at the peak right now. That's the the 9 energy, right? Like you're at the peak. You're at some sort of climactic experience. I feel like with this one, whoever they are or whatever this is, it doesn't have to be a person. It could just be an energy. You're at the peak where it's kind of like the image that was coming through with this was in Lion King, the climax of Lion King, when Simba returns, and there's all of this sort of like the battle between him and his uncle, right? There's that kind of thing, where it's like all of this fire, he's having, like Simba is having to go back and reclaim his throne. That's the kind of energy that's coming through here. So it's like, again, with power, right? It's kind of like reclaiming your throne or reclaiming some aspect of your power, but it does involve some sort of battle, metaphorically, to get rid of whatever this like infestation energy is, whatever that is for you. It's all metaphoric. It's not necessarily a person, right? It's just kind of like an energy in general. Anyways, after that though, because of course you are going to be successful in whatever this is, right? Like this is absolutely coming in with an energy of success, because the next couple cards here you have are the Five of Wands and the Six of Swords, which is all of this water. It's like also at the end of Lion King, right? After the climax, it's like it starts raining because there's of course all this fire to to symbolically represent this big transformational purge that's happening. And then it starts raining to put it all out, right? And then there's like new growth. So there's all of this water that's being brought into a situation that's been through some sort of transformational purge, is what that's feeling like. And then after that, which I love so much, is the Magician and the Three of Cups, right? All of these raccoons. It's like there's celebration. This card absolutely feels like a celebration. I feel like for you, coming out as the Magician, it's like you're rejoining this celebration is kind of how it's feeling. Because it's like these ones here, perhaps like it's not their battle. These are the friends, perhaps, or the group or whatever. Perhaps there's three. There's like, or whatever, a group of people, or perhaps just one, or whatever it is. Your soul family is kind of how it's coming through. They're coming in to help you, give you strength, perhaps even as just like a comic relief. Because these two cards are kind of looking to me like what are the names? Pumbaa and Timon, like the two sidekicks kind of energy. Like they're coming in as like perhaps like a lighthearted sidekick kind of energy in order to help you through this battle, whatever it is. Because you are the Magician, you are a very like powerful kind of like, I don't know, like a powerful being is just kind of how it's gonna come through. You're this incredibly powerful being, but it's kind of like you've been battling this thing for such a long time that it's just like it's taken from your strength. So they're here just to give you a recharge is kind of how that's feeling. And then after that, there's going to be all of this sort of celebration. And so it's kind of like, it's feeling like the Four of Wands in this energy, right? Like very stable celebration with the ones who are like you, with the ones who are like your family, right? Like being returned to your family or being reunited with your family, metaphorically, like the one, or like soul family is what it's coming through. Not necessarily like your biological family. Your soul family is what this is feeling like. So Leo, I'm going to end it there. If you're interested in the extended, you can find the link in the description box below. If you're interested in a personal reading, my website's also below. If this message resonated with you, please consider liking, subscribing, or leaving a comment. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day.